Hello and good morning, everybody. It's not Cliff this morning, as you can see. It's me, Kat, and it's really lovely to have you all here on the morning class for our Wednesday move around, connecting in with Cliff started off the Chinese body clock for the year. I think last week we started the stomach meridian, and I'm going to kind of mix it up a little bit because this weekend is a college weekend and it's actually the wood element. So I'm going to mix together a little bit earth and wood element together. I mean, trees and plants, they need the earth to grow, and being spring, it's a nice way to connect in with the wood. Hello everybody in the chat. There's another thing, I don't have a chat monitor this morning, so please bear with me. I will check in on the chat now and again, but if you have any questions, I will pop in and double check if there's anything that you need to know or you're wondering what points where as we go along in our session this morning. Oh, lovely. It's nice to see you all from everywhere around the UK and Europe as well. Okay, so I will stop sharing the screen for a moment. Hopefully you can see and hear me well as well. So connecting in with the earth and the wood element, and the points of the day I wanted to work on, I'm going to mix it up a little bit since it's the 101st class. So you've got the room 101 with me this morning. I'd like to show 2 points on the foot, and they're quite close to one another. One's on the stomach meridian and the other's on the liver. And I thought this ties in together really nicely. The feeling that actually the stomach meridian moves downwards towards the earth. Obviously, we want that with our food to encourage the food to go down. And also the liver meridian, this point I'm going to show later, liver 3 on the foot. It helps to just draw down the energy away from the head, which also helps with our digestion and any headaches or heat in the other areas of our body. So to start with, let's just come up to standing. Oh, hello everyone who's just joined. It's lovely to have you all here. So we're just going to come up to standing and gently pad the feet into the ground. So easy walking, and you can check in to see how you feel this morning. How's the breath? You might notice somewhere on the body you might feel a little bit tight or held, or you might feel great this morning. So just allowing the toes to just drop into the ground, into the earth. Yeah, relaxing the toes and the heels on the feet as well. Lovely. And then we're just going to allow the weight to settle into the feet. You can allow the toes to just lift and fall, lift and fall. Lovely. Spreading the feet in the ground, and we've got soft ankles, soft knees, and the pelvis is just nicely balanced on the top of the legs. Checking in with the shoulders, gently rolling the shoulders, seeing if the jaw's nice and relaxed, and the head and the neck. And I thought to start with, before we choose a burning space to work on, I thought we could just do a really nice scan down from the top of the head all the way down to the feet, and seeing if there's an area in the upper chest or the middle burner or in the lower burner where we feel we need a little bit of work this morning. If anyone's joined, I don't have anyone on the chat, so I will pop in. I can see lots of things coming up this morning, so I'll take a look in a second after our scan of the body. So we want a nice, easy breath. We're just going to focus just a little bit above the head, just checking in with this space above the crown of the head, seeing what it feels like, not necessarily changing anything. Just checking in. And we're going to draw the energy downwards, draw the focus down onto the skull, the back of the head, the side of the head where the ears are, scanning down the face, just checking in and noticing how that feels this morning, maybe connecting in with your brain as well. Scanning down the throat and the sides of the neck and the back where the head and neck meet. So our spines and the ears inside the head. Scanning down, just noticing what's going on here this morning. And then scanning down to the shoulder girdle, the collarbone and the scapula at the back. Nice wide feeling. It's lovely bones that meet to make a nice voluminous space for our ribs. Checking in to see how that feels. We're going to scan down the arms, just noticing, scanning down the shoulder joint, the upper arms, into the elbows, the forearms, into the wrists, and our hands that do so much for us all the time. Just noticing how they feel into the fingers. Super. And we're going to come back up to where we left off on the chest. So where the collarbone is and the scapula are at the back. So we're going to scan down the ribs, front, back and side. This wonderful round rib cage that we have. Scanning down, perhaps seeing how the lungs are and the heart is this morning. Down the spine at the back and also in the center of us. Scanning down to the diaphragm, just noticing how that feels. Down the middle of the spine, the lower ribs, and then down into the belly where the rest of our organs are. All the liver, the stomach, the spleen, gallbladder, got our kidneys at the back. And then into the intestines in the pelvis. We've got the sacrum, the lower back. Scanning down into the pelvis and just seeing how that feels this morning. All the way to the tailbone. We've got our glute muscles as well. We're going to scan down the legs, these huge femur bones, and all the flesh and muscles on the upper legs. Down into the knees, front and back of the knees, down the legs, into the lower leg, drawing our attention down into the ankles, down into the feet, the heels, the soles of the feet, all the way to the toes. And then we'll scan just a little bit further, so just drawing our attention just below the feet, under the ground that we're standing on. Just noticing how we feel there. And if there's anything that kind of jumped out at you or noticed was wanting a little bit of attention, so we're just taking a kind of snapshot of how that feels, making a mental note. Lovely. Just going to gently open our eyes. So keep a hold of that sensation that we've got this morning. Don't worry at all if there's not anything at all and you just feel really great. That's good as well. So we're just going to shift our weight onto one foot and then the other. So we're swaying. You can lift the heels off the floor as well. So the joy of the wood element, so mixing in the earth and the wood element today, is it likes free expressive movement. So allowing free flow of movement for our energy to be free flowing as well. So it's how we express ourselves. So perhaps today you just want to move from side to side gently, or you might want to lift the toes, the heels off the floor and take a wider sway from side to side, shifting using the knees in the ground, the feet spreading, or you can be quite gentle. And checking in with the breath again. You might notice it in the chest, or coming in through the nose, around the belly, or the lower belly. Great. And then we're going to shift the weight onto one foot, planting the weight so we've got this strong leg. We're just going to start to shake out the foot. If you need a chair or wall to hang on to, please feel free to do that as well. So we're just allowing the bones of the foot to relax and have a little wobble out. So you can be quite gentle with the foot, the bones of the foot. Don't need, unless you want to go for something more vigorous. See how you feel this morning. Shaking out into the ankle. I have this feeling in my head, a nice image to help me relax the bones and the muscles, is that I've got cooked spaghetti for limbs. So we're going for the cooked spaghetti look and feel. So into the lower leg and the knee. Rest the foot down anytime you need to. Into the thigh. So shaking out the thigh muscle. And then into the hip. So you might want to take a swing with the leg. Doesn't have to be high at all. And if this movement doesn't work very well for you, allow the heel to rest on the floor and move the foot from side to side to it, allowing the hip joint to ease out. So doing what feels good for you this morning. Yeah. And then just a little shake out to the side. And then planting the feet back down on the ground. Hopefully one feels a bit different to the other. I've got a nice round left leg. The right one needs some work. So same thing again, shifting the weight from one foot to the other, pouring it down into the earth, into the feet. And we'll start by shaking out the foot. Making sure we're still breathing. That's an important one. So allowing the ankles to relax, our cooked spaghetti bones, into the lower leg, into the knee, and then the thigh. Shaking out, doesn't matter which direction, you might want to play around with that as well. And then into the hip, so you might want to swing the leg a little bit, or same thing again on this side. You might want to allow the heel to drop to the floor, soften the standing leg, and allow the leg to rotate in the pelvis at the top. Doing what feels good for you this morning. All right. Shaking that leg out and then coming back to standing. I'm going to shake one leg and then the other. So sticking with our shaking this morning to help release the fascia and help energy drawing down to connecting with our earth and wood energy and element. So if we have our feet in a nice parallel, shaking out the legs. So let's imagine we've kind of got an extended tail. It might be a dinosaur tail or a cat tail. And we're just going to allow the knees to soften and the tail to move from side to side. It might be quite a small movement from side to side. I'll show you sideways. So I am slightly allowing the pelvis to tilt forward. Lengthening the tail. Yeah, imagine I have a big cat tail, like a tiger or a lion. Or it might be a domestic cat as well. And we want to let the arms loosen and the spine ride with this movement from side to side as well. And from previous classes, we know that the liver, the wood element, loves movement from side to side. Really helps kind of wring out the meridians, which connects nicely in with the digestion as well. Lovely. And then allow that movement to gently come to a stillness in standing. Yeah. Great. Oh. You might want to rearrange the legs again. I'm just going to check the chat for everyone. Oh, the cooked spaghetti, wet noodles. Yes, I like that too. Oh, thank you, Dinah, for popping in. That's fabulous. Okay, so we're standing in our parallel. We've shaken out the pelvis and the legs. Now we're going to come to the hands. So, same thing again. Wet noodles or cooked spaghetti, whichever feels good for you. We don't have to go too vigorous. See what feels good for you today. You might want to whisk the hands with the arms long, or play with the hands bouncing upwards. So our hands, especially with all of our technology, they do so much for us, especially the thumbs. So see if we can get the thumbs to relax. Yeah, into the wrists. Yeah, and the forearms. So doing what feels good for you. You don't have to go as fast as me today. I feel like my arms really need a good shake out. You might want to be a bit more gentle. So it's free expression for you and what works for you this morning. Into the elbows, into the upper arm. If you have any shoulder issues, just keep the arms low. We don't have to let them fly around too high. Yeah. So it's that cooked spaghetti, you don't really know which way your arms are going. The less you think about it, the easier it is. We can have fun with it as well. So really shaking it out. You can allow the shoulders to join in if that feels okay for you. And maybe the ribs too. Soften the knees. And maybe it takes the whole body, okay? So do what feels right, even if it's just a little bit smaller. You can involve the whole body, shifting the weight from side to side. It's kind of playing with shaking out. I'm going to shift the weight and include a leg. Ugh, whole body shake out. It really doesn't matter what you look like. We all got cooked spaghetti wet noodle limbs, including the spine and the head. And then gently let that ebb away. Super gently bringing that movement to a gentle stillness. You might want to sway a little bit from side to side, feet spreading in the ground. And just checking in with the breath again. You might notice it in the chest, or the ribs, or the belly, or in through the nose, or perhaps down into the feet. Okay, so let's go back to where we first started with our scan and seeing that area or how we felt, remembering what we wanted to focus on. So for me today, actually, I wanted to focus on my legs. They felt a bit thick and stuck. So that's great. The stomach channel is going to really help release that and draw the energy downwards. So let's see if there's anything, maybe you want to draw it like we do usually if you've got pen and paper, or you might want to pop it in the chat, what you'd like to work on today, or maybe what you've noticed. Oh, I'm glad, Jane. Just what you needed. So I'm going to find a poll a moment, and we're going to do a check-in with more thinking on the burning spaces, and then we'll choose a burner to work with this morning. So bear with me whilst I just have a little look for this poll. Here we go. There's quite a few. Here we go. Okay, so I'm going to share a poll in a moment, but before I do, if we come to sitting, you might also want to do this standing. We're just going to tune in again, so getting nice and comfortable, allowing the shoulders to relax, the head and neck and jaw, and releasing the pelvis as well. So we're just going to tune in, and you might want to use a hand. I like to do this to get a feeling, tuning in, kind of kinesthetic, tactile touch to see what's going on today. So placing a hand on the chest if you want to, or you can just use your imagination. I'm just going to take 3 breaths in here to the upper burner. So breathing in, not forcing the breath, and then breathing out, letting everything gently melt down towards the ground. Breathing in, gently filling the space in the upper lungs. Breathing out, letting it melt down towards the ground. One more breath here, breathing in. We're tuning in to see what it feels like in this area, either in our mind's eye, okay, now we can breathe out, or what it feels like under our hand. So that's our upper burner space. I'm going to move the hand down to the lower ribs. You can use both hands if that feels okay. So just above the belly button, and we're tuning into the middle burner, so where our stomach, spleen, liver, gallbladder is involved here. Same thing again, we're going to do 3 breaths and we're just tuning into how that feels. You might notice that the breath feels different from the upper burner to the middle, and that's absolutely fine. And we can choose a burning space that we're going to work on in a little bit. So breathing into this area, filling the space underneath the hand, also at the back of the body. Checking in as we breathe out how that feels. Breathing in and filling the breath all the way down to the lower ribs, just above the belly button. And breathing out, allowing the breath to melt down towards the ground. Just checking in how the area feels. We'll do one more breath here. Breathing in, and then breathing out. So in your mind's eye, just taking a moment, how does that middle burning space feel? How digestion feel this morning? And then moving the hand down to the lower burner, so just below the belly button and before the pubic bone. Placing a hand here, you might want 2. We're also sending the breath, you can see, to the lower back as well. So filling this whole area, lower burner. So we're going to breathe in, filling the space with the breath. You might notice if it's smoother or easier than the 2 spaces we've breathed into already. Then breathing out. You might feel that it really needs it, and it needs some extra breath and energy. Then breathing out. Breathing in. And as we breathe out, let the breath melt down towards the ground. Let's do one more here, breathing in. As we breathe out, just getting a sense of what that area feels like. Might feel great, might feel a bit tired, or it needs some extra energy, which really might be holding on to something and it needs to release. So we've got these 3 areas, upper, middle, and lower. Okay, so just taking a moment to decide which one you feel you'd like to work on the most. You can make a note, or I'm really happy, let's just go straight into the poll. So I'm going to share that with you now. Hopefully you can see that. Oh, fab. It's a mix this morning, but the good thing is when you work on one burning space, you actually affect all of them. But I will make it work a little bit more. I think lower burner is almost pipping the post of the middle burner. Oh, actually, middle and lower about the same. So we've got 35% for lower and middle burner, and the upper burner, that's quite close actually, that's 29% of you that wanted the upper burner today. The nice thing is, working on the lower burner is going to help open up and give some freedom to the upper burner as well. So I'm just going to check the chat. How is everything? Great. Everybody's fine. Okay. So focusing in on our middle and lower burner, since it's kind of 50-50 there, and everybody else who wanted the upper burner, we will do a little bit on that to begin with, okay? So we want our true Qi, or the air energy, to be breathed in really nice and easy. And what happens is that the kidney energetic function is it grasps that pure Qi and pure breath and draws it downwards. So if our lungs aren't able to send the energy down to the kidneys, the poor kidneys don't get as much energy as they need. Obviously, this affects the middle burner as well. So just to start with, if we come up to standing, we're going to do just a little tapping across the chest, and we're going to incorporate a little bit more in the stomach, which runs from the eyes all the way down the fronts of the legs to the second toe, and also a little bit into the liver and gallbladder on the side of the ribs. When we tap here, we want to be a little, you can be quite firm, but if it feels a bit nauseous or sick or tight, you can be much more gentle in this area. Okay, so we're tapping together. So we'll start with fingertips on the chest. Okay, how's everybody doing in the chat? Somebody's a metal goat, that's wonderful. Metal goats can be flexible as well. So tapping around the chest, fingertips. You might want to be quite gentle this morning if that feels quite tight. You might want to go for a loose fist. Okay. You're making some noise if that feels good, a little bit like Tarzan. We want to come to lung 1, which we've done about 2 months ago with Cliff on the start of the Chinese body clock. So just in the front of the chest here, there's a dip just on the inside of the shoulder. Yeah. So we just want to gently tap here. Okay. I'm just extending my arm, so we want the thumb side nice and open, gently tapping all the way down the edge of the arm on the inside. You might want to use fingertips all the way to the thumb. We're going to turn the hand over and come up the index finger, up the large intestine channel around the elbow. There's a good spot there. Kind of to the top back of the shoulder, yeah. And gently with the fingertips across the neck. And we're gently going to tap to the side of the nose with the fingertips, much gentler. So let's do that once more on this side. So chest, lung 1, all the way down to the thumb. Turning the hand over, coming up the index finger. There might be a spot that feels really good. You might want to change from palm or fingertips to loose fist in different areas. Up to the top of the shoulder, reaching around a little bit, and then fingertips on the kind of edge of that sternocleidomastoid. I'm terrible with pronouncing that one. Muscle, this huge muscle on the neck here. So it just runs across the edge of it all the way to the nose. Super. So let's do the other side. So tapping on the chest again, extending out the other arm into lung 1 on the front. Shifting lots of things. You can yawn or take a nice breath all the way down to the thumb. Not forgetting our feet are nice and planted in the ground. Up the index finger into the elbow, to the top of the shoulder, and then fingertips gently tapping across the SCN muscle all the way to the side of the nose here, where the end of the large intestine channel finishes. Then back down onto the chest, do the lung, let that breath come in. Hopefully anybody who wanted the upper burner shifting, we're getting this one clearer as we go all the way to the thumb, turning the hand over onto the index finger, up outside edge to the shoulder, and then gently tapping across the neck, gently on the face to the nose. Haha, and guess what? You definitely did the start of this one last week. So gently tapping, stomach channel starts just below the eyes here. So we can start, I'll get a little bit closer so you can see. So underneath the eyes here, we're just going to gently press. The stomach meridian goes straight down either side of the cheeks. Cliff will next week, I think, look at stomach 3, which is here underneath the cheekbones, straight from stomach 1. Gently tapping. And it gently goes down the front of the throat here, where that SCM muscle is. Yeah. Front of the chest, so you can beat that a little bit more. And it goes straight down, eyes through to the nipples here. I'm going to go to the lower ribs, all the way down either side of the belly button. I've done this point a long time ago last year, so you might want to be gentle on the belly this morning. So if you've just had your breakfast, you might want to tap gently. Yeah. And then slightly wider on the front of the hips, and we're going to run down the outside edge of the leg, just either side of the knee, and then we're aiming for the second toe. So slightly wider, keeping the knees soft. Oh, sorry, the camera's gone a little bit blurry. Hopefully it can find me in a minute. Gently tapping down the thighs to the knee. Just on the outside edge of the shin here, all the way down to the second toe, keeping the head nice and soft to the ankle, and then tapping to the second toe. And then we're going to come to that inside edge of the big toe, inside edge of the foot, and we're going to at the front inside edge of the legs, the spleen channel, which we'll come to in a few weeks, onto the hips here, and it gently comes up the sides of the body, sides of the torso. You might want to do the opposite side. Yeah, sides of the chest, either side. A little bit of space in the front side of our torso. So let's just do that one once more. So from the stomach 1, gently tapping. So we can imagine that we see something that we need that will nourish us. Maybe that's some food. Enters the mouth, taking that in. It goes down the digestive tract, all the way down to the stomach, gently tapping either side of the belly. Widening out to the front of the hips. And then all the way down the outside edge. I imagine it like train tracks, either side of the knee, stomach and spleen, softening the knees, tapping all the way down to the second toe. And then coming back the inside edge of the feet, big toe, inside edge of the foot, front aspect of the neck, all the way to the front of the pelvis, and then opening out a little bit to the side of the ribs. I'm going to do the opposite arm. Gently tapping the side, so opening up the spleen channel here. So we're working the middle burner, opening that up. Super. So releasing the arms. You might want to shake the legs out. So now we're going to do something a little different. I don't know if Cliff's done this type of tapping before. So with the feet nice and spread, we're going to allow one arm to float up and the palm's going to face the ceiling. If there's any shoulder issues, soften more in the elbow and bring the arm a little more in front of you rather than on top. Okay, so doing what feels right for the shoulder this morning, but we're basically opening up the side of the body. So we're going to connect in with the wood element, our gallbladder and liver channel. And I'm going to use the little finger side of my hand here, like that. And I'm going to use this to gently tap. You might want to be a bit vigorous, so gently tapping from the armpit, down the side of the ribs, all the way to the hip, opening out the side of the body. So we want to tap down and then back round again. So we're not going to tap upwards, we're going to start from the armpit and tap down. Now, if you have any heavy periods or perhaps did before menopause, this might feel like a little bit sicky feeling. I tend to get that sicky feeling, or perhaps if you've been partying last night, you might feel that this one feels a little bit sicky feeling. So taking your time, you don't need to give it any extra welling if that's too much. You might feel, oh, actually I need to declog this area, and that feels really good. Okay, one more time. I'll get all the way down the side of the ribs with the little finger to the hip, and then release that arm. Okay, and then shake the arm out. So the arm that's just come up, if we do again, breathing in, allow the arm to float up to the ceiling again, or just in front of you. And we're going to breathe in, allow the heels to draw down into the ground like tree roots. We're just going to allow the body to gently tip over, breathing out. And then coming back again, softening the knees. Breathing in, the heels grow more into the ground. And as we breathe out, we're just going to soften the body gently over. You might want to hold the opposite leg. Softening the knees and undoing that side opening, and undo the arm. I'll just check the chat. How's everybody doing? Super. Thanks, Dinah, for being on the chat there. So let's do the other arm. So we're going to scoop the arm all the way up so the palms facing the ceiling, or softening the elbow more and keeping the arm in front of us if that's a bit much on the shoulder. Same thing again, little finger side of the other hand. We're going to go armpit all the way down to the hip, and taking your kind of preference this morning. Does this feel okay? Do I want to be a bit softer? Do I feel a bit groggy this morning and I really need to wake up? This one's great for opening the sides of the body and kind of reviving our Qi and free flow of energy. So from the armpit, side of the ribs, all the way down to the hip. So let's do one more of these. Ooh. One side might feel tighter than the other. My right side definitely needs opening up. And then allow that hand to float down. Okay, so we're going to soften the knees. Yeah, and I'm going to stick with my right hand this side. It might be your left this time round. Lovely. We're going to breathe in. Allow the arm to float all the way up and lengthen the heels down into the ground, breathing in. As we breathe out, we're just going to gently tip over, softening the side of that body. We don't have to go very far at all. Okay. And then breathing in, undoing the arm, softening the knees again. So we'll do that once more. So as we breathe in, the roots of our feet and legs go deeper down into the ground as the arm floats up to the sky. So breathing in, lengthening down through the legs. And as we breathe out, we can just gently sway over. Breathing in and undoing the arm and the side of the body. Super. So we've done the sides of the ribs where the gallbladder and liver come. So if we just come a little bit into tapping either side of the ribs, we're going to go down the inside of the legs, the outside of the legs, gallbladder, and then up the inside. So taking the side to the hips, you might want to go a bit more into the glutes, so making a nice easy fist there into the glutes. They do loads of work for us as well. When we walk, cycle, even when we sit, they're very important. So opening that out, and we're going to go following the seam of my trouser leg all the way down to our fourth toe, and we're going to come up from the big toe on top. We'll look at the point of the week a little bit later, up the insides of the thighs. So softening the knees, allow the head and neck to relax as well, either side of the body, down to the fourth toe, and then onto the tops of the big toes, in between the big toe and the second toe, the metatarsals. And we're going to come up the inside of the thighs, let's do that once more. So breathing in. Oh, and you might want to really breathe out as you soften down the side of your legs, all the way to the fourth toe. And then moving across to the big toe and getting that point, the liver point, number 3, which we'll have a look at in a minute. Going to come up the insides of the legs, inside of the knees, and all the way up to the hips and the belly. Gently, gently tapping. And if we take the hands, we're going to move them right hip, right ribs across to the left and down. So we're gently circling, nice, large, smooth spiral that we're going to do, drawing all the way into the belly. So this is the way our digestive system runs. So it goes right hip, right ribs, left ribs, and down and out. It's the way our intestines move. So if you have any, trapped wind or stuckness or kind of sticky feeling in the digestive system, I always find this movement really nice and calming, relaxes the stomach and also the liver. So taking our time to wind this movement down, spiraling all the way down to just below the belly button. All the way down to our dantian, our center, until we found a nice settling, softening stillness with our movement. Brilliant. You can just take a moment here to just tune into your whole body and how it feels. Hopefully with all the shaking and tapping we've done already, things have really started to clear and shift. You might take your mind's eye back to the area that you noticed when we first did our scan, body scan. I just want to check in with that now, how it's feeling. My legs feel a lot better, less stuck, so that's good. You might want to notice your breath or how full your body feels. Lovely. Okay, and then let the hands go. You might want to wiggle the legs a little bit. I'm just going to check in the time, see how we're getting on. Brilliant. Okay, so before we come on to points of the week, because I'm going to throw in 2 today, I want to do a little bit of work on the kidney channel to really help fire up our kidneys so they can really grasp this energy that's coming down and also support the middle burner. You can do this sitting or standing, so I'll show it standing. You can also do it kneeling or on a chair, okay? So what we're going to do, I'll show standing first, is allow the elbows just to gently soften and placing the hands either just a little bit above the pelvis, either side of the spine. And we're going to make very easy fists, okay? And we're going to make some circles in this area. So what I want to make sure is that my feet are spreading in the ground, knees and ankles are soft. And I'm going to allow my head to just gently tilt forward. So there's no tension in the shoulders. We can let the shoulder blades melt down. And we're going to gently circle to start with. So imagining we're circling in, spiraling this lovely energy all the way to the kidneys. So starting on the surface, and it's as though we're spiraling in and in and in and in and in and sending that energy to the belly. So I'll turn sideways so you can see. In and in and in. Might want to go a little bit quicker. But we really want ease in the shoulders and the head and neck. We could do this sitting as well. So you might just want to lean a little bit forward, circling the lower back. Okay. We're still going, lots of circles. Let me know, anyone in the chat, if this is a bit tricky with shoulders and you can't quite reach lower back, please let me know and I'll come up with a suggestion for modifying it, I mean. So sending lots of energy, spiraling it in. If we're standing, you might want to start to bounce a little bit and go a little faster with the circles. Relaxing the face. We're almost there. I'm trying to keep count, but I've totally lost it now. Allowing this lovely warming energy into the kidneys and the lower back. Okay, lovely. And then we're just going to gently release that, slowing them down. And then undo the hands. Just let them kind of flop either side of the body, shaking them out a little bit. We're just going to take the arms, so either side. So we want the edge of the arms, basically, that we're going to squeeze nicely, connecting in with bones and the kidney and bladder. So either side of the bone, from the armpit, squeezing all the way down, either side of the elbow. Come a bit closer, down the forearm, and let's give some attention to the palm of our hands. They do so much for us. So particularly near the heel of the hands, heel of the palm. So giving that palm a really nice massage out. We can do this sitting as well. Allowing the tension from the palms to come out. Down the thumbs, down the little finger, and then squeezing out the rest of the digits on the hand. Then we're going to come to the other side. So either side of the arm, the bones, thinking bones, deep yummy marrow that nourishes us. Either side of the elbow, all the way down the forearm, into the wrists, into the palm of the hand, especially the heel. So in our extensions, in our Masanaga theory, so don't worry at all, this is a little more advanced, kidney and bladder come to the palm of the hands, the heel of the hands. So we've got the kidney on the little finger side and the bladder on the thumb side. So giving them a nice massage out. If we're on the computer or on our phones, these digits do loads of work for us, so it's nice to give them some attention as well. And then squeezing out down the little finger and the thumb, and then all the other digits as well. Great. Okay. And then we can come to sitting. So I'll just get the chair. You might be sitting already, which is brilliant. Okay. I'll just check the chat. Okay, thank you. Thank you, Dinah, for checking in there. So I've got my feet nice and spread in the ground. And I'm just going to place one hand on the belly, and if it's okay to, one hand on the lower back. Okay. We're going to send 3 breaths down, and then we're going to look at point of the week before we close, because I can't believe the hour's almost up. If this is a bit much on the shoulder, just keeping both hands in front of the belly. And we're going to imagine the breath comes all the way down to our hands. I know our lungs finish here, but we're drawing the breath down deep into the belly. And we're imagining it expanding to the back as well. So either hand front and back, or both at the front. And the feet are spreading into the ground. So the more we go down, the easier it is to come up. Soft shoulders and relax the jaw. I'm going to send 3 breaths to this lovely area in the belly and lower back. Breathing in, gently filling the space, the upper burner, middle burner, drawing it gently down, not forcing anything at all. And then breathing out. We want to keep that lovely energy in there and breathe out what we don't need. Breathing in, gently drawing it down to the lower burner, kidneys, giving them some energy. As we breathe out, we want to keep this lovely, I imagine like a golden light from the air, keeping this golden energy down in the lower burner and breathing out what we don't need. One more breath here, breathing in. And then breathing out what we don't need and keeping that gold. And we'll just go back to a natural breath. And gently undo the arms. I'm going to open the eyes if they're closed. I'm going to get my big book of acupressure points. And I'm going to see if I've got a slide. I hope. Where are we? Let's see if I've got the right one up here. Yes, here we go. So Cliff might do this one in either next week or the week after. Basically, I've drawn us down to the feet because it's really important that we work our feet so we can open up the rest of the burning spaces for us. And I wanted to choose stomach 44 because next door to it is liver 3, and I thought we could give them a good squeeze at the same time. So stomach 44, it clears heat from the stomach channel. Any movement kind of rushing upwards is really going to help draw it down. This point's really good for hangovers as well. It's great for toothaches and headaches, particularly frontal forehead headaches, any abdominal pain or swelling in the foot or in this area. In this huge book that I've got here, I wanted just to read a little bit more. So, stomach 44. Clearing heat from the stomach channel, it alleviates pain, harmonizes the intestines, and clears damp heat, and it calms the spirit, so it helps our mind to settle. And it's really good at helping with like cold shivering or cold hands and feet, and a gazillion things that it's great for. So it's in between. So as you can see on the slide, so you want to get the second toe, and it's towards the third toe, kind of in the webbed bit where the toe joins the foot. So hopefully you can find that. We're going to give it a good old squeeze in a moment. The other one I wanted to show was liver 3. Lots of you probably already know it. I don't think I've got a slide for that, so I'm just going to take this off and show this lovely picture here. Liver 3, which way am I there? So it's also in between 2 metatarsals, the big toe and the second toe. So that's the liver 3. The great rushing, and it's amazing for drawing energy down. Why I chose this one to go with stomach 44 is because it also helps with regulating menstruation, which connects in with the spleen for ladies. It nourishes the liver blood and liver yin. And where is it? It has a wonderful connection to the digestive system as well. There's so many points on this book that this specific acupressure point's good for. So here we are, liver 3. It's good for jaundice, vomiting, nausea, constipation, diarrhea, or anything with undigested food. So isn't that great? A nice connection there with the liver and the stomach channel. So I'll pop these to one side. We've just got a few minutes. So if we come to probably already sitting, I'll come back to sitting. And if it feels all right too, we're going to take one foot on the leg. And to start with, we're just going to rub the hands together. We've got a few minutes to get our feet going for the rest of the day. And we're going to tune into the points on the foot, stomach 44 and liver 3. So give the foot a really nice squeeze, starting from the ankle, round the heel, into the foot, sole of the foot. You might want to do it a little bit more like this. Or if you're at home and somebody's there, you could do one another's feet. Either side, kind of top and sole of the foot. Okay. Squeezing the foot, and you might want to start to move the foot, manipulating it, and see how that feels this morning. Yeah. And we're going to go down the spaces in between the metatarsals, so in between the bones that run to the toes. So let's start with the big toe. So I've got fingers on the top and I've got my thumb underneath, or you can do it this way, thumb on the top, fingers underneath, tracing that edge all the way down. And here we have liver 3. So you draw up from the space in between the toes, and there's a bit of a depression towards the big toe on that bone there. Here's liver 3. Yummy, drawing down energy. So tracing that all the way down, and then moving along to the next metatarsal. So between the second and third toe, and a little further down towards the bit where the toes connect, we've got stomach 44. Actually, it's one of my favourite ones with liver 3. I like these two paired. So continue going down, moving to the next one. So starting at the top of the ankle there. There's loads of points on the foot. So wherever we're pressing, there's doing us lots of good in between the third and fourth, and then in between the fourth and the little toe. I'm just going to check the chat. So gently pressing. You might want to be a bit more gentle between each metatarsal. See that how that feels. Some point definitely needs some attention. Oh, I'm glad. That's lovely. All the way down. And whilst we're here, let's catch a hold of our kidney 1. We all know where that is. So kind of in between second and third metatarsal. So it's slightly off the center, underneath the ball of the foot, giving a nice press there, a bubbling spring. Lovely. And then just to finish, giving the foot a little tap, waking it up for the rest of our day. Okay, we've got just a few minutes to do the other foot. So swapping over, catching a hold of that foot. And we'll do the same, warming up the hands, giving some energy into the hands, and then squeezing the foot all over. So we'll continue with this foot, and then we'll just check in to close and wrap up the session this morning. And hopefully we're all feeling a lot smoother and easier for the rest of the day. So into the ankle and the toe. And we're going to come down the metatarsals. So from the ankle all the way in between the big toe and the second toe. Oh, yummy, liver 3. So we're going to come up here. I've got quite a long foot, so yours might be a little bit lower down. So feeling this point here. I can see loads of hearts flashing up in the chat. So hello everyone, and thank you for being here this morning. And then down the second and third toe, and we're coming to stomach 44. Delicious point. If you're feeling sicky, any stuck feeling in the digestive system. Next metatarsal, third and fourth, and then finally the fourth and the little toe, all the way down. Checking in with kidney 1, underneath the sole of the foot, and then giving a tap underneath the sole of the foot. Lovely. Lovely. And then placing the foot down. Super, it's just about 11. So let's just check in again. If you're able to stay just for a minute more, allow the shoulders to relax, the feet connecting into the ground. We've had a lot of wiggling around and releasing this morning. Hopefully you're feeling a lot easier and smoother. We're just going to check into our whole self. Taking a breath, noticing how we felt at 10 o'clock this morning. Do we feel any different? Has that area that we noticed first changed? Hopefully it has. Yes, my legs feel much stronger and more open. Hopefully everybody's middle, lower and upper burners feel much nicer as well. Lovely. Just going to open my eyes, check the chat. Thank you everybody for joining this morning. Thank you, Dinah, for hopping on the chat. It was great to have someone there. I didn't think we'd have someone, but that's wonderful. And I'm so glad everyone's feeling much better. If you have any questions, please contact the Shiatsu Centre. You can do so on our website. Also, it's the Shiatsu College Norwich weekends, the wood element. So if you are part of the community, you want to join us on the Saturday morning live stream. Also on Sunday morning, there's Meridian yoga with me. Or if you would like to join that, it's shiatsucollegenorwich.org. That's the website. And it's community membership is £10 a month, and you get all sorts of things from college. You get this class included, and also a monthly yoga class. Anyway, it's lovely to see you all here on the Wednesday morning. Have a lovely day and rest of your week. And Cliff should be back next week. All right, bye-bye. Oh, thanks for all the hearts in the chat. That's lovely. Bye.